Hello and welcome. Today, Scribbles is here helping me make a little project. I've got some shirts that belong to my aunt who unfortunately passed away this past spring. One thing I will be doing with her shirts is making some pillow covers for my cousin. That was her request. So I'm just laying out her shirts with the seams on the bottom kind of lined up along one edge. Then I'm cutting out the fabric into squares that are the same size as the pillows. They're all a little stretchy fabric, so it'll be fine if they're a little on the smaller side. So I did leave a little bit of a seam allowance, but I wanted to make sure that they fit good because I don't have the actual pillows with me. So I'm cutting out those squares, and then once I've cut out the four pillow cover shirt fabrics, I will add a zipper along the bottom edge there, so nice and easy because they have the finished seams already. So we did this one and then just a few others out of different shirts that had enough fabric to make a whole pillow cover with. Some of the shirts were prettier than others, but the really, really nice ones didn't have quite enough fabric. So a couple of them are pajamas, which are nice because they're very soft. And then the next thing we made are these little keychains. So one thing my aunt was sort of famous for in the family was always bringing people gifts, and one of the gifts that she would often bring was paper towels because it was like something she knew everyone would use at some point. So she would gift rolls of paper towels, and during her services, her granddaughter had talked a lot about it. So the keychains are for my cousin, who's my aunt's daughter, and the granddaughter, who's my cousin's daughter. Anyway, so I put in a little piece of fluffy fabric on the inside so I could quilt it later to make it look more like a roll of paper towels. I've just sort of eyeballed how big I wanted it when I rolled it up so it would look like a proper roll of paper towels. And then I'm just sewing those two pieces of fabric together. So the shirt fabric and the fluffy inside fabric, keeping it as close to the edges as I could so you wouldn't really see the seam once they were done. And after I did that, I take all the pins out. I'm going to be flipping it around and doing little swirly patterns like on the brand paper towels that she would bring everybody. I had thought about putting a little cover over them and painting the little logo of the paper towels on the cover, but I wanted them to be able to touch the fabric if they wanted to. So now I'm just taking some fabric glue and gluing down all the little edges. It's one of two kinds of glue I used on this project. This one I just used the fabric glue because the little edges are really small and I wanted to be able to be as precise as possible. And if I used hot glue, I would have been burning the crap out of my hands. So once I got all those done, I'm just taking a little plastic straw and kind of measuring it out so it looks like the inside tube of a paper towel roll and just cutting that to size. And then once I have that done, then I'm going to switch to the hot glue and I will glue that in and adding a little bit more glue as I go just to kind of roll it around. And once I have that all rolled up, all glued together and nice and tight in there, I'm going to add a little keychain charm onto it. And I did this two different ways, but I didn't show either because I didn't particularly love either one. They both worked fine. One of them I did a little braid of thread and then attached the keychain charm to the thread. And the other one I used a jewelry tool and made a hole in part of the paper towel roll and attached the keychain charm that way, just using an extra chain link that I had from some past project where you have to buy a whole box of little ringlets, even though you probably only needed one. So once I finished that, I made a second one. Again, made two of them, and each one ended up with a different attachment. This one is the chain link one here. And then the last project I'm doing is for all of the grandkids. This is just a little Christmas ornament. I got the plain ornament at Hobby Lobby. I know that they are a little bit evil and we all try not to shop there, but the lady who I'm making these ornaments out of her clothes, she loved Hobby Lobby. I don't think she knew anything about any of the politics or all that stuff. She didn't care. She was just an old lady who liked pretty things. So the Hobby Lobby was her jam. So I got these from there in her honor, and I just sort of traced out one edge. It's got six little flat pieces that make up the ornament, and drafted a little pattern piece. And that pattern piece is available, so if you have any of those types of things laying around and you want to do something similar with somebody's clothes, you can. I cut out six alternating scraps here. I'm just sewing them together with the right sides together. And as I went, once I had two pieces put together, I would open them up and put the next one on top of like whichever way I wanted the pattern to go. So I did end up making six of these, but I think I only show one or two here because that was all I had at the time. Once I had them sewed all together, and trimming the inside fabric, so the seam fabric, so that they would open up a little better, and any little like chunks in the top and the bottom so that I could glue them onto the cardboard part of the ornament better. And yeah, I tried to be careful about where I attached them so there was like a good pattern of the different colors because I just did 3 colors for each ornament. And also was being mindful of keeping the stretchiest ones as the last two that got open because I did hot glue them onto the ornament rather than sewing them, and it just made it a little bit easier to kind of stretch them over so I could glue them down and make it as nice a seam as possible. So you can kind of see as it opens up, it almost looks like a beach ball the way the sections come together. And yeah, once those are all done with the cardboard, I was once again using the hot glue. So I had to work a little quick and be a little careful, especially when lining up the top and the bottom. The very first one I made, I absolutely did not realize that I wasn't paying attention to where I glued the top and where I glued the bottom, and they ended up getting a little twisty, and I just sort of decided to keep that one for myself. My aunt was someone who always gave everybody Christmas ornaments at Christmas time. Even if you were like, I don't have a tree or I don't celebrate Christmas, she'd still get you some sort of like non-denominational ornament to hang from a window or something. She like was obsessed with a Hallmark store. I'm pretty sure that if the Hallmark store where she lived was still open, they will definitely notice that she is gone this Christmas time. We have a whole lot of singing snowmen in our Christmas decoration bin upstairs right now because she loved to buy those, especially for my daughter. When my daughter was smaller, I did not love the snowmen that much, but now they're very cute. So with the hot glue, just a little bit around the base is all I really needed to keep it secure and feel like it wasn't going to go anywhere. Once I added that glue, again, just kind of lining it up, trying to make sure that the edges of the fabric pieces line up with where you can kind of see the edges of those little spaces on the ornament, and then wrapping it over. And same thing, once you get it all wrapped over, just gluing around the top and looking out for the little hanger that kind of just came attached to the ornament. Lining up all the pieces, pulling the fabric over to where you wanted it, and then gluing down one side, and the one side would overlap, so you're pulling the not the last piece, but the second to last piece, you're going to pull it over that last section so that you can glue it a little bit past where you want it, and then the one that will kind of seal the deal there gets folded over and then glued on. And that's what they look like when they're all done.